So let's go ahead and do level 2 Excel basics for Office 2021. Our first outcome is going to be utilizing the flash fill. So as you can see, I have a name, a list of names here. I want to separate them first to last. There are other ways to do this, such as text to columns, but we're going to use flash fill. So the first thing I need to do is basically tell Excel what my pattern's going to be. So I fill out the first one with first name, last name. Now this could have been last name and first name. All right. Now once I do that, I come into here, I come into data, and I choose flash fill, and it'll go ahead and fill those based on the pattern that I have. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at entering formulas using the keyboard. So I have a set of data over here, and I always prefer, and I find it more accurate, to enter formulas using the keyboard. So as you can see, I'm going to type in equals, and what I'm looking for is the sum of the column above. I will do the left parenthesis. I will start with the first cell in my sequence, which is B2, put the colon for through, and then the final cell is B13. So I'll type B13 and I'll enter it. Now, to double check that, I can just double click and it'll graphically represent the formula that's there. Now, I don't need to do the rest of these unless I'm practicing. I can just drag over, but I want to finish by auditing the last one, making sure that it is in fact summing the sequence that I expect it to sum. Now, let's go ahead and look at average, count, max, and min. And this time what we're going to do is we are going to use the easy button. Now, I want to caution you on the easy button. In the home tab, under auto sum, we also have these auto formulas here. Now, I want to average, but watch what happens. I've got to be very careful using these, and you'll see why I like to put in my own formulas. If you notice, it's trying to just do the average here, okay? We're going to use point mode, and I'm going to point, left click and hold as I drag through the range I want. There's the range, and I can go ahead and click that and fill it over. Now, we'll get rid of the decimal places right now by coming in here. Let's say we just want to show 2 decimal places. We can decrease the decimal places, or if I want to show just the whole number, I can do that as well. All right, so let's continue on. We'll use the easy button with count. Again, we're going to want to be very careful with this. You'll notice I want to drag and drop the range that I want. I don't want to include the sum and average in my count, and we'll fill that over. Now, what count does is simply counts the number of cells. So let's say for Julie, I take out this number. You'll notice that all of these dynamically change. I'm going to put back the 800. And you'll see it goes back. So let's go ahead and do max real quick. Now I'm going to hit min real quick. And this time, once I have these two, which if you notice, I wasn't careful with my min there. This is why I'm not a fan of those easy buttons. There we go. Let's double check this one. Those are both correct. Now I'm going to select both of these and fill over. Double click to audit here. Double click to audit there, and we're good to go. So what I just demonstrated was how to verify a formula using Rangefinder. All I have to do is click on the cell with the formula. It'll show me the formula and show me the range. So that is how to use Rangefinder. Now, the other thing I want to point out is you can do the Control tilde key. That's the key above the tab key. And that will show me the back end, any raw data or formulas. Here are all the formulas and functions we've put in, as well as I click on these, it shows the range used above. Now, real quick, let's look at using the fill for a sequence. So I have January here. I'm going to come down to our fill and slide over, and it will show the different months. Now, I could do this for a subsequence. Like if January was here and February was there, I would select both, and it would skip every other month. Now, once we have data in here, we may want to go ahead and apply a theme to just improve the quality of our work. Let's say, for example, I turn this into a table. So I'll come in here, I'm going to format this as a table, and we'll be able to see that my data has headers. It's got column 1. I can go ahead and rename this to sales name, such as the salesperson's name, for example. And now if I come back into page layout and themes, I've got these different themes that I can apply that will change the font and will change the color based on a palette associated with the theme. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Ion theme here. That actually looks similar to what we were using. Let's do Ion. There we go. So there is applying a theme. Now finally down here for a date format, let's say I enter a date like 8/16/23, and I want to provide a different format for that date. Well, on the Home tab, you'll see that it defaulted this to the date formula, but let's say I want the report date as the long date, if you will. Now, sometimes instead of using themes and formulas, we want to provide a indication of some sort of information in regards to our data. So here what I'm going to do is use conditional formatting. So I've selected the data that I want to conditional format, come up here to conditional format, and I've got a lot of different rules: greater than, less than, between, equal to. I can do top, bottom. I can do bars that represent, color schemes that represent the range of values, or icon sets. I'm going to go ahead and use a common greater than. Let's say I want to know, instead of 752, which it automatically chose for me, I want to know every one that is greater than 725 so that I can see which salespeople did basically more than 725. Let's say perhaps I want to provide a bonus to those folks if 725 was the minimum units that they needed to sell. I can then find a year-end bonus or a half-year bonus by using conditional formatting. Now, although my data is pretty uniform, I'm going to go ahead and change some column and row heights. For example, I'm going to click on here. I'm going to go right-click, and I can manually enter a height. You'll notice currently the height is 15. I'm going to change that to 20 and say OK. That's one way to change the height. I can also just click, use my cursor till I get these two arrows, left click and hold as I drag down to get, say, whatever pixel I want in the way of a row height. I can also do this for width. I'm going to go ahead first of all and center these, and then I want all of these to be the same width. Okay, so I can see that there's a bunch of widths here. It looks like January is in fact the widest. I'm going to widen it every one to 10. Let go, and now you'll see that each of these is widened, well, to 1007. Looks like it changed from 10 to 1007. There's 10. Finally, as with any document we create, whether it's Word, whether it's PowerPoint, or even Excel, we want to make sure to check the spelling of the workbook. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go to Review, Spelling, and it'll ask if I want to continue from the beginning of the sheet. I'm going to say yes because my cursor was down there. Sparky is spelled correctly, so I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. Report down here, so I'm going to change that. And now I know that at least my spelling is correct. Take care.